Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In this episode we're going to be doing something very different to what we normally do, but before that, let's roll the intro. And as you can see behind me, there's a Forester, but not any Forester. If you look at this, it already tells you that it's not a stock one. And today is the start of the rebuild of the engine. So let's have a look at the engine and let's see what we got. Alright, so this is not my engine, unfortunately. This is Pete's engine, and I don't really know much about what is going on with it. So I'm going to let him explain to us what has been done, what it is, and what is his goals with it.
Right, so basically I picked up a used Ej25. It was a Ford short block, but it said it had been sitting for a while. So I decided to strip it down to check it out. And whilst I did, I thought it makes sense to close deck it and have it converted to 14mm head studs, as I'm shooting for about 5,500 horsepower.
That is brilliant.
So I had to replace because it was closed decked, I had to have it overboard to 99.75, and the rods that were in it were no longer up to the job, as they were only standard STI rods, as I will show you. If you look at it, compared to the new rods are very much more up to the job.
Yeah, definitely.
These, I reckon, are good for up to about 450 fly horsepower, although I wouldn't really be comfortable using them above 400. These are the RCM head studs I'm using in this build. As you can see, they're a hell of a lot beefier than the standard head bolts, and even more so than the 11mm. These are RCM ones that I picked up. With these, you have to use a special set of block locating dowels, as the standard ones will no longer fit, which are, as you see here, they've been modified. In fact, let me take that out. They've been modified so that they close together when they're put into the block, and they go perfectly with the 14mm head studs.
What was the reason why you have to use them then?
The modified, because the standard dowels simply are too small. By the time they compress, it won't allow 14mm head stud through, so you have to put relief slits into it so it allows access to the bigger head stud.
Alright.
And the head studs are a good idea, because even with the sort of 11mm head studs, you're limited really by what sort of boost you can put through, and I like to run big boost where possible. So I thought it just makes sense to overbuild it for what I need.
Definitely. It's better be safe than sorry, isn't it?
Yes. I went for Wiseco pistons. I'm a particular fan of them because they've got the anti-friction coating on the skirt here, which reduces piston slap, which are notorious on forged piston engines. What I also like about this is the consideration the first ring is further away from the blast surface of normal pistons, because most ringland failure occurs because that first compression ring is far too close to the blast surface, which means it goes through all the heat cycling it, and it just messes it up. So companies like Wiseco and Marley's as well, they put the blast surface much further down, away from the blast surface, so rings keep out of harm's way.
That's a lot of R&D, isn't it?
It is a lot of R&D. And Wiseco have always been big in the piston game. I've used Wiseco pistons on previous cars before and always been very happy with them.
So, I know you're doing a new engine, you're building a new engine, but
yeah.
What happened with the old one?
So the old one, I pushed it far past its boundaries. They reckon the safe sort of power limit, and even that is a guess, is around the 330 mark. Because these earlier pre-facelift Forester EJ25s had the same internals as the STI motors of the 2.5 period.
Oh, wow.
On the facelift, they changed them slightly, so the internals were slightly different. But I'm pretty sure, I've not torn this all the way down yet, but it's showing all the symptoms of ringland failure. it was smoking, loss of compression, and also when I stripped the heads off to be sent to be rebuilt, I also found 3 bent exhaust valves. So it had not been making full power and not spooling right for a while.
Yeah, definitely.
It was a chance. High mile end. It got to 176,000 miles.
Well, that's
With a lot
quite...
of abuse, yeah. So anybody that says, oh, the 2.5s are chocolate engines and they're going to blow up straight away, it's just a load of nonsense.
I mean,
it's like anything.
I do know that you drive them hard.
Yes,
So,
I do drive it. But if you look after it, you know, keep on top of your oil changes and everything like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. As long as you look after them, you can run them as long as you want, basically.
Yeah.
So this were the old pistons you were saying to me?
No, so they're the pistons that came in before short block.
Oh, so this came on that engine
whipped
there.
the pistons out. This was a non-forged motor.
And you were running...
404 horse and 438 foot-pound for it.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
So why are you not using this ones then?
Because they are 99.5mm pistons. And because I had to get close decked and we had to overbore, I had to go 0.25 oversized.
Yeah.
Which means they were no longer up for the job.
I mean, to be honest, the closed deck, it looks so good.
Yeah.
That job is insane.
And the closed decking was done by AS Performance. Is known for it. If you go to a Subaru builder in the UK, 9 times out of 10, they're sending it off to him anyway. So I thought, why go to the middleman? Just cut it out.
Yeah,
and approach directly.
just go straight to him.
Very affordable as well.
Now we're gonna show you something that is gonna look so good that I never seen it on a Subaru. I've never seen it on an EJ. I'm sure there's many people that have done it, but I've never seen it. And we were talking about that we wanted to put the HKS belts on it, and the reason why is this.
There we go. And now we've got the controversial subject of clear timing covers. Now, some people will say, oh, they're rubbish, they'll get messed up after 15 miles of road use, they'll start cracking, and whatever. I suppose it's down to personal preference. I just love them.
Definitely.
Again, genuine RCM parts, because there's only 2 manufacturers that make them. ICP Durham Fuji Racing Series,
yep.
or RCM, and RCM, it's nice and local to me, and me and Ollie Clark get on quite well, so
yeah.
It just makes sense. We've got an ongoing relationship,
sort of like a friend of a friend, isn't it? It's like just building that relationship with them.
Funny, I met him not through cars, I met him through my normal job, and that's how I met him. But it just so happens to be that they specialise in Subaru bits, so it's great, and it's only half hour down the road.
Well, life is weird sometimes. That's how you get, you know, sometimes you meet people that you don't even know they're into cars, and then all of a sudden, look at this.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
But I mean, I love them. The only consideration I've seen from what I've seen online, people saying they do get messed up with road use, and when they get dirty and you can't clean them off.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe using like a ceramic coating, you know, like they do on bodywork in that, just to add another layer of protection on them, so it hopefully preserves the nice.
I think it would be a brilliant idea. Just so, imagine that. Just imagine that. That's gonna look so good.
The thing was, I needed a new set of timing covers anyway, because a common fault on these, I think it was on the back plates, it just pulled out.
Yeah.
It was no good. There we go. Always remember tang to tang, but I nearly forgot then.
Yeah, do what I say, know what I do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, to be honest, with rod bearings, you can't really go wrong with them. They're all the same size.
That's
As long as you follow the rule of the tang being in place. But the caps also have tangs on them. So
they will actually.
Yeah, so there's there, it has to go tang to tang on the rod cap.
Yeah.
Because these are all line board. You see from factory, they're all line board together. So you can't even mix and match your rod caps. Or you're going to be in a
big of an issue.
You're going to be in a bad way, yeah. And these are the P-Max coated bearings, meant to be harder wearing. It's effectively like ACL's race series of bearings.
And you're going to be using them on the streets.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. Street, pod, you know, anything really.
You're going to take it to Santa Paul as well?
Oh, absolutely. It'd be rude not to, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm pulling in all this work, and I just want to specify for a channel, I've never built an engine before. This is literally, so I'm learning along with everyone. But it's good.
Yeah, that is another thing. This is the first engine he's putting together. This is the first time I'm actually, well, I'm not helping at the minute, I'm just here chatting shit, but this is a learning curve. So by no means we're professionals, we're just into cars, we like knowing our stuff and doing the research and all that kind of thing. So yeah, we might make mistakes, hopefully not, but we might make mistakes or we might forget certain things. So yeah, bear with us. It's we're just learning as much as you are doing.
Critically, when building an engine, you need to check your clearances. Stuff like your mains journal, your rod journal bearings and everything. Don't just assume everything's going to fit out the box, because there's a good chance it won't and it will need some adapting. Luckily, you can buy oversized and undersized bearings, and don't be afraid to mix and match them to get the clearances you need. Before Nico got it, I went through and I worked out all my mains clearances and all my rod bearing clearances. Then using this dial bore gauge,
which we already have done now.
Which we've already done. Yeah, I've gone through and I've checked in here, because you have to torque these case halves down all the way through, all in order, which I've also got here.
Using carbon
and on
box.
the other one, yeah, anything you can find, and you put all your case bolts in, you torque them all down to spec, and then you basically send the dial bore gauge in through here with the bearings installed to check your clearances. Because it's at this point, if your clearances are off, you want to be changing your bearings for either oversized or undersized bearings.
Right, so now we're going to check the gap that we've got inside here, inside this hole. And we're looking for, what was it,
2.047.
So if we've done that right, we have torqued them to 90, what was it, 90 foot-pounds?
90 foot-pounds, yeah.
So you're doing 3 stages, it's 30, 55 and then 90.
Yes.
And now, hopefully, we got the right measurements.
And this is where everybody's going to curse me for using vernier calipers. But these have been proven to be more accurate than my the other calipers I've got.
Yeah, to be honest, we try to use another gauges, and these ones are the ones they actually calibrate properly, they don't move, and they give you the exact measurement that you're looking for.
Right.
So that's what we're using.
That'd have been good. I was looking for a bolt, it doesn't exist. Oh, I need to make sure that's on.
Alright, so once we check the actual clearance on a rod, what we're going to do now is disassemble the block, the short block. We're going to put the crank, which I think is down there. We're going to put the crank in, and then we're going to put the rods with the crank, or get the crank with the bolt allocated and all that. And we go from there.
Yes.
So the only reason why we torque the rods is just to make sure that once we put the bearings in there, the clearance is properly correct, is the clearance that we are allowed, or between the parameters that we are allowed to. Now we have to take them all out, and as I said, we're just gonna disassemble the block, get the crank in, and then get the rods connected to the crank, and then we can put it all back together, torque the bolts, and hopefully we don't have to take it apart anymore.
In regards to your different type of crankcase bolts, you got these that have got sealing washers. I don't know if you can see them very well. You've got an orange insert there, and you've got external ones which only have a normal washer. So your internal ones going through there, through your water jacket, so you've got 2 one side, 4 the other, and you've got 2 external ones.
Let me just put the hand, yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's your sealing washer.
Yep.
There's your normal washers, and they're fine. You also have 2 shorter ones, which are external, which also go in this side, and then you've got a load of these miscellaneous ones that go in during the top, but they're not important during the torquing process. And this is how you split a block. what you got to do is you got to knock it off. There's 2 locating dowel pins. But even though I've had this engine apart recently, still like to put up a bit of a game.
And we found that they are quite hard to find.
Yes, so don't make the mistake I did, which is to pull them out because you think they look naff and you want to replace them, because there's only one place to actually get replacements, and it's not Subaru. Subaru will not sell you the block off locating dowels. Roger Clark Motorsport luckily make a set of heavy duty replacements, which are fantastic. They also do too good of a job of keeping the block together.
Yeah, it seems like
which means every time you want to split the block, you got a bit of a game.
It is coming though.
You'll see. Always use a rubber mallet.
Yep.
Don't take a hammer anywhere near it, and always hit on bits that you're not going to damage. And eventually, it will fall into place like that. That's off one dowel, and it should be able to get the other one. He says
was he keeping struggling?
Oh my goodness.
That's the main part now.
Beautiful.
There we go.
Right.
That's done.
Okay.
So as you know, we now have to lube the crank, and if you want to lube it while you look into my eyes, I think it'll be quite sexy.
Yeah. Yeah, and you shouldn't be afraid of using too much on this, because this is what your engine is going to rely on when it starts first.
And as well as the last time that we can actually lube all of this, so
yes. So with these, I like to place them so the Manly logo or the company logos facing the front. Is it necessary? I'm not sure. Ooh,
but are we doing it? Yes.
yes.
We're going to do it on the table. First of all because it's easy, and second of all because you will be able to see it way better.
So, Manly logo towards the front. Slide it in through like that, and then yeah, that is together on the bearing. Right. Oh.
So we're going to give it
little love
a
tap,
little
it
tap.
appears, just to get it in close. Right. That is first rod installed. Not torqued.
Not
just
torqued,
installed.
yeah.
Just
Torqued is going to be another story that's going to be.
So these rod bolts, they come with the Manly Ej25 series. The ARP sheet shows that they want to be installed with 30 weight oil. There's no such thing as oil. So I've got some 5W30 there. I've poured a little bit out into my bearings container because I had nothing else. You need to make sure that the threads are completely clean of debris and dirt. Then you use just a little bit of oil. You don't want to go full ham because it will distort the torque values, and from what I've seen elsewhere, a little bit underneath the head of the bolt. And this is what ARP requires you to do when installing these ARP bolts into their Manly rods.
Which, as we were saying before, is weird that they actually said that it's better to use oil than their own lubricant.
Yes.
Well, we just finished. We just finished talking them. So the 30 on all, 60 and then 90.
Well, we did 95.
Well, yeah, we did 95 because it's between 90 to 100. And my God, we both have to be holding the crank while being able to actually talk. I mean, it's not easy. I'm sure there's an easier way to do this. Well, my God, we did work hard for this.
Well, once you've assembled your rods onto your crank, you need to make sure that there's no up and down play. Up and down play is straight to jail. You're not going to be able to go ahead. Look at this. No up and down play. A little bit side to side play is normal, but no up and down play. None at all.
So we're so happy about that.
That's how you know you got your clearances right as well.
Good. On to the next step now.
Yeah.
Put it back in. Get that into that case and this one. Alright, so we put all seals that we need to put at the minute, and then we can put the crank, and we're gonna have to seal the block, which you get just one chance, one opportunity. So we'll see. We're gonna take that easy and do it right. Now that the short block is assembled, what we're going to do is torque the head bolts once and for all, and hopefully, as I said the last time,
Yes.
let's pray for that.
Oh yeah, they all go to 7.4 in the first place. Okay. So,
Alright, before we go too far ahead, now what we're doing is putting the
remaining case bolts in.
Yep. So they are basically A, B and C. That's the sequence. What did we say? 18.3, wasn't it? Foot-pounds. And then you're gonna have another one right there, another one here on the top, and all are gonna be torqued at the same spec. So you do this one first, this one, then this one. You come right at the bottom, you do this one, then this one up here,
and this one, and then this one.
this one, and then that one right there. And there's a bolt underneath that will show you in a second. I'll show you on this one actually. I'll show you on this engine. It's so much easier. There's a 10mm bolt right here. Remember to put that one in. And here's what I'm going to end this video, this part one, if you want to call it, of the engine rebuild. This is not going to be a step by step. I have to rebuild it because I can't be there every time that he's working on it. So we'll show you a few things. He's already advanced a lot. The engine is almost complete. So probably the next time that you're going to see this car is going to be when we put the engine in and on the first start. Of course, we're not going to miss that out, so don't worry. That will be coming soon, maybe in the next few months. But before I go, I just want to say to all of you, thank you so much for getting me to 500 subscribers. It might not mean shit to a lot of people, but to me it means the world. I had a little cry, I'm not gonna lie, a little tear, and I'm so happy. It excites me a lot that some of you wants to watch what I'm doing, they actually wants to follow what I'm doing. It gives me a bit of a boost to continue when they sometimes don't go well, don't go as I expected. So before I keep on rambling, we got 3 modifications that we're going to be doing the Forester on the next 2 videos hopefully, so stay tuned for that. It's going to make a lot of difference. One of them, you know, is going to be the steering rack, as if you've seen this video you know that we're still having issues with it. We're still having a knock on the steering, so I got something quite special coming from Japan. Hopefully you're excited for it, and hopefully I'll see you soon here. So as usual, thank you for watching, thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing if you do, and I shall see you very shortly.